Right now, freeze warnings remain in effect for much of our viewing area, and it's set to be the coldest weekend since April. Chris has the latest on the roller coaster forecast. And happy homecoming. It's a big weekend for batters past and present. We have a preview of the big game and everything happening before and after it.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning and thanks for starting your day with us here on News 3 Now. It's Saturday, October 12th. I'm Keely Arthur in with meteorologist Chris Reese. Chris, great to have you back.
Yeah, it's fun to be here. I've been spending a lot of those weekends in La Crosse. Michelle Podol, a meteorologist at our sister station in La Crosse, is on maternity leave. So I've just been covering for her in the evenings, which has been fun.
Yeah.
It's been cool, but it's good to be back at home.
Great to have you back. And you said the temperatures there a little bit colder.
Just a little colder sometimes.
Cold
but
today
yeah.
here,
I was gonna say,
everywhere.
all of us are dealing with those freezing temperatures, if you will. But hey, we've had a beautiful sunrise thanks to some clear skies that we got for a time. But even still, there is a freeze warning that is in effect. It excludes the lakeshore counties. That's where things have just been a little bit warmer. 37 for Kenosha and Milwaukee, Sheboygan at 35, Manitowoc at 36 right now. But let's go back towards the west. We're at 30 in Viroqua. They've come up a little bit. They were at 29. The Dells also at 30 right now. Madison is 1 degree above freezing at 33, but you factor in the wind and it feels like 23. And the Dells, it feels like 20 right now. So it certainly feels a little wintry as you step outside. You're going to want those jackets headed into today. Also headed into today, more cloud cover will join the picture. You see the snowflakes flying throughout parts of southern Minnesota and the Twin Cities right now. That wraparound moisture will all move in from the north and west as we head into this afternoon. So look for the cloud cover to be on the increase. But as we go through the morning, there's sunshine. Temperatures warm up from 33 to 43 by the afternoon. The clouds, the rain and snow showers, they all move in. We'll see those temperatures topping out right around 46 degrees.
You and I just stepped out briefly to grab a cup of coffee, and it is chilly.
It is very chilly out there, and I got a little excited for the winter season. But it's certainly feeling that way.
Well, if you like the cold, Chris, you are in the right place.
I will enjoy Wisconsin for sure.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
All new this morning, major parts of Southern California are still in flames. The Saddle Ridge fire started Thursday and since then has expanded to more than 7,500 acres, jumping 2 freeways. The wind-driven wildfire has forced about 100,000 people to evacuate. And this morning, we have new information about what might have caused it all. Rachel Kim has the latest.
As the devastating Saddle Ridge fire continues to burn in several communities, so does the question, what sparked it? Donna Porco lives on Saddle Ridge Road, and she noticed the fire when it first broke out around 9:30 Thursday night. She says she saw this electrical tower behind her home on fire by the time she went outside. But she tells us her neighbors believe they saw where it started.
He and his wife saw that the brush underneath that tower was on fire. And the wind was blowing so hard, it took off.
While there were planned power outages by PG&E and Southern California Edison across California in anticipation of the winds, Donna says the power in her neighborhood stayed on.
We didn't get any messages from DWP, and to be honest, I was selfishly relieved that we weren't going to lose power.
Donna says she and her neighbors are now left wondering whether their power should have been turned off and whether that would have prevented this widespread fire. Friday night, we saw investigators looking around the base of the tower. Authorities still don't know whether the fire started because of the electrical lines, but they addressed the issue at a news conference on Friday.
Our arson investigators have interviewed, we believe, that witness, but certainly someone else who said something similar. So we are following all leads, and we still don't have a determination.
Mayor Eric Garcetti was asked whether DWP considered turning off any power during the planned outages.
We don't know if those lines are Edison lines or DWP lines, but we will always assess that. But it was the determination department, no, that we did not need to have proactive mass outages.
I'd just like to have a little more cautionary insight by these utility companies.
In other national news, the United States is suspending a tariff hike on $250 billion worth of Chinese imports that was set to take effect Tuesday. China agreed to buy $40 billion to $50 billion in U.S. farm products as the world's two biggest economies reached a ceasefire in their 15-month trade war. The tariffs on $250 billion in Chinese imports was set to go up Tuesday from 25% to 30%. President Donald Trump is back in Washington this morning after hitting the campaign trail for a second night in a row, this time with a rally over in Louisiana. While the rally was meant to unite Republicans against the state's Democratic governor, the impeachment inquiry remained the president's rallying cry.
All of our nation's gains are put at risk by a rage-filled Democrat Party that has gone completely insane.
Earlier Friday, a key witness in the inquiry defied a State Department order not to cooperate with House Democrats. Behind closed doors, Marie Yovanovitch, the former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, told lawmakers she was abruptly ordered to come back to Washington in April on the next plane. She says the Deputy Secretary of State told her she had done nothing wrong, but that the president had lost confidence in her and that there had been concern against her. On Monday, lawmakers conducting the impeachment inquiry are expected to hear from the former Russia policy expert on the National Security Council. More local news now. One of the two men convicted in a fatal shooting at a Madison gas station has been sentenced. 35-year-old Demetrius Reeves was sentenced to life in prison without parole Friday. The shooting happened at the 7-Eleven on West Beltline Highway in August of 2017, killing 32-year-old Kendrith Young and injuring another man. Reeves was caught on surveillance video at a nearby bar before the shooting. Then two masked men were seen on camera shooting Young. Curtis Langloss was also sentenced to life without parole in the same shooting. One of the two men charged in a string of burglaries and car thefts from across southern Wisconsin was in court Friday. 24-year-old Cleaster Moon is charged with multiple counts, including burglary and theft. He was given a $20,000 bond for each charge he is facing. 17-year-old Joshua Pitts was also arrested in connection to those thefts. A new program being launched in Sauk County is aiming to give young, low-risk, first-time offenders a second chance. The Juvenile Youth Diversion Program is geared toward those younger than 14 who commit crimes. Instead of putting a mark on their record, they can agree to sign up for a 4 to 6 week program at the Boys and Girls Club. The program's goal is to make a positive and lasting impact so they are not caught up in trouble in the future.
The goal is to help these kids identify with a positive peer group, have opportunities to engage in positive behavior.
More specific details about the program can be found over on our website, channel3000.com. The Watertown Police Department has released surveillance video as part of their investigation into a string of property crimes. Police have received complaints involving graffiti, broken windows, slashed tires, and other property damage. The video is from Monday and Tuesday night and shows suspects vandalizing vehicles at multiple locations throughout the city. Residents are encouraged to turn home surveillance video from earlier in the week over to police. Anyone with information on the crime spree is asked to call the Watertown Police Department immediately. A jury has awarded a Beloit Walmart employee millions of dollars in damages in a disability discrimination case. According to the lawsuit, an employee who has a developmental disability and is deaf and visually impaired worked as a cart pusher at the Beloit Walmart for 16 years before a new manager started at the store. The new store manager suspended the employee and forced him to resubmit medical paperwork in order to keep his reasonable accommodations. The paperwork was submitted, but the store cut off communication and effectively terminated him. The jury awarded the employee $200,000 in compensatory damages and an additional $5 million in punitive damages. Happening today, the fifth and final game of the Badgers' current homestand is today, and it's homecoming to boot. The Badgers are hosting Michigan State, who is 4-2 this season. Meanwhile, the Wisconsin defense is on a historic pace with 3 shutouts in its first 5 games. The Badgers are ranked at or near the top in almost every defensive statistic in the country, including first in total defense and scoring defense. Last year, the Badgers defense struggled at times, but this year, Jim Leonard's crew has been spot on.
The energy, you know, guys are flying around. They're feeding off of each other, and just a high play speed and physicality. I think last year there was times we just lacked that physicality. I think there was more guys at times trying to be right and not doing it the right way. And right now guys are just letting it loose and playing off of each other, and whether it's the linebackers or DBs, and we're making a lot of impact in making plays in the backfield that we didn't do last year.
Some other events happening today before the big game include the Badger Bash at Union South at noon, Badgerville over at the Engineering Mall also happening at noon. A multicultural homecoming tailgate and watch party over at the Pyle Center begins at 1:30. And finally, what we all have been waiting for, at 2:30, the undefeated Badgers will take on Michigan State at Camp Randall. Friday on campus, both students and the Alumni Association kept a Madison tradition alive and as pink as ever. For each gift given to the Wisconsin Alumni Association, a flamingo was put on Bascom Hill to represent how private support helps UW-Madison maintain its excellence in education. Over 1,300 flamingos filled the hill this year. And this morning, State Street is cleaned up and much quieter than it was about 12 hours ago when Badger students, alumni, and fans celebrated at UW Homecoming Parade. UW Chancellor Rebecca Blank and former director of the UW Marching Band, Mike LaCrone, made appearances at the parade. The event featured multiple bands, the UW Spirit Squad, some fun floats, and, of course, Bucky Badger. And looking ahead, the Packers are busy this weekend getting ready for Monday Night Football. That game at Lambeau Field. The Detroit Lions, like the Packers, have only one loss. They're 2-1-1, and they'll be well rested coming off of a bye week. So Matt LaFleur knows the importance of Monday's game.
It's absolutely critical, and we talk about the North games, and you know, the bottom line is whoever wins this next game is going to be the leader in the North, in the division. So we know we have a team that's a really good football team coming in our place playing on Monday night.
And we have a sad story to tell you about that affects one of our own here at News 3 Now. Too often, we report on fatal car crashes, and Thursday night, we lost a member of our family. 24-year-old Levi Lynchide was killed in a Grant County crash. He is the younger brother and only sibling of our colleague, morning anchor Leah Lynchide, who is a very dear friend of mine, and those two were very close. The Grant County Sheriff's Office says his car was discovered Friday morning at 7 o'clock after an overnight crash. His car left the road and hit a guardrail before going over a cement barrier. They don't know the cause of this accident just yet. Leah's family has issued a statement saying Levi will be remembered for his unmatched kindness, his commitment to God, and his endless love for his family. He was universally beloved. As a fitness instructor, his job was to teach and inspire. His memory will continue to do just that in all the lives he touched. Our general manager, Tom Keeler, saying, the entire Morgan Murphy media family is heartbroken, and we extend our most heartfelt condolences to Leah and her family. Leah, you and your family are front and center in all of our hearts and prayers, and we all will be with you every step along the way. Funeral arrangements are pending. We'll be right back.
Well, welcome to the weekend, folks. We have been asking for fall, and fall has finally arrived, and I think a little piece of winter came along with. We have a freeze warning out, and that's going to go until 9 o'clock this morning for all of the areas that you do see shaded in the light blue. And that's pretty much everyone except the extreme lakeshore counties where temperatures have been kept just a little bit warmer. Madison, we dropped all the way down towards 33. Some other spots made it into the upper 20s this morning. 33 is where we sit right now in Madison. Wind still coming out of the south and west at 14 miles per hour. Now that southwest wind is actually helping to keep temperatures a couple degrees warmer, but with the wind, there is a wind chill. I can feel it outside right now. The wind chill 23 in Madison, 20 in the Dells, 19 in Viroqua. So folks, make sure that you have a nice jacket that's going to keep you warm if you are going to be out and about today. I know there's a lot of festivities, especially with the Badger homecoming game going on. We had one round of cloud cover that moved out. That's allowed that sunshine that we have out there now. But pay attention towards the north. There's another round of cloud cover already starting to move back on in. You can notice that just across parts of northern Wisconsin and southeastern Minnesota. That all arrives as we move into the afternoon. And what it's going to be bringing with it is wraparound moisture. That means we'll also see some chances for some rain showers and snow showers as well. Here's that overall setup. The region of low pressure is now over parts of southern Canada, but the northwestern flow that comes in on the backside of that is bringing in added chances for rain and snow along with much colder air. Temperatures are going to be dropping again. Here's Future Track showing you that cloud cover along with the chance of rain and snow. And then the clouds, folks, are probably going to hang around the upper Midwest as we go through the next couple of days. Yes, it's that time of the year that the clouds become more and more prevalent. Let's time out things play out this afternoon with the sunshine, though. By noon, I do think temperatures will be into the low 40s, mid 40s for those highs. Check out 4 o'clock. The clouds begin to move in from the north and west. We'll also see that chance for some showers. And at times, the showers may be just heavy enough that they tap into some of the colder air at the higher levels of the atmosphere and bring that back down. That's when you'll have the best chance to see some snowflakes mixing in. Then overnight tonight, we're mostly cloudy. Some passing flurries may pass as lows fall back down into the 30s. And then tomorrow will be in the 40s with the chance of some isolated showers as well. But get this, we warm up somewhat in the week ahead. Temperatures hover around the 50-degree mark the first couple days of the week, then 60s by next weekend with a little chance of rain perhaps by next Sunday, Keely.
You look very happy out there with all those pumpkins surrounding you, Chris, but I know it probably feels more like winter.
It does feel like winter, but you know what? It's not that bad.
That's the positive attitude I love about you. Thanks, Chris.
My pleasure.
Well, amid this wet weather and frost, some hemp farmers in our area are working against the clock to harvest their crop. The Hansen family in Deerfield has operated a dairy farm for the last 60 years, and this is their first season growing hemp. They planted nearly 30 acres. Now they're calling friends and working as fast as possible to strip the plants and dry them so that the crops don't develop mold. They've lost about 1/8 of their crops already. Right now they're putting in 12-hour days. They have about 10 more days left of harvesting, trying to finish up before the true cold comes in. Time right now, 8:19, and one of the best-selling children's books of all time is headed to Netflix, and the streaming service is kicking off Christmas early with its first ever animated original film. Plus, there are several things to watch ahead this weekend. Will shares his picks in 3 things to watch. Trending news is just ahead on News 3 Now this morning, Saturday. Welcome back. Let's take a look at what is trending this morning. One of the best-selling children's books of all time is headed to Netflix, and even Sam I Am will like this all-star cast. Michael Douglas and Adam Devine are featured in the upcoming animated series Green Eggs and Ham, based on the 1960 beloved Dr. Seuss book. Keegan-Michael Key narrates the 13-episode series about an inventor named Guy Am I, who goes with his friend Sam I Am on a cross-country adventure. Diane Keaton and John Turturro also have roles. Green Eggs and Ham starts streaming on November 8th. Also soon to debut over on Netflix, the streaming service's first original animated film. This just in time for Christmas. The new movie called Claus features J.K. Simmons as an isolated carpenter living in a cabin above the Arctic Circle with the toys he has made. Jason Schwartzman is also playing a part, Jasper, a student who promises to deliver Claus's toys to children in the unhappiest place on Earth after he gets Claus to agree to donate them. Claus starts streaming on Netflix on November 15th. And for adults, Jeff Daniels is getting ready to play FBI Director James Comey in a 4-hour mini-series based on Comey's best-selling book, A Higher Loyalty. The book details Comey's career at the FBI and his dealings with different presidential administrations. Irish actor Brendan Gleeson will play President Trump. Production starts in November at CBS Television Studios. No word yet on when the show will air. But you don't have to wonder when the next films will be ready for you to watch on this chilly weekend. Our Will Loper shares his picks in this week's 3 Things to Watch.
Woody? Why am I alive? You are a toy. You belong to Bonnie.
New on home video this week is Toy Story 4.
I know, this is a little strange, but we all have to make sure nothing happens to Forky.
Something happened to him.
Woody, Buzz Lightyear, and the rest of the gang must work to rescue Forky, a spork who's been brought to life.
We have to find him, Mom.
Bonnie needs Forky.
Aw, Sheriff Woody, always coming to the rescue.
Toy Story 4 is available to rent or buy everywhere now.
Is that how we look on the inside? There's so much fluff.
Newly streaming on Netflix this week is El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie.
I saw my face in the mirror. Lord, I know I've changed.
Picking up right after the Breaking Bad television series ended, Aaron Paul returns as Jesse Pinkman, who's on the run from law enforcement.
And I found grace in the bright water, bathe my soul. Tell my heart I told you so.
El Camino is available to stream on Netflix now.
You ready? Yeah.
I'm Netto, it's Alvin, and he's driving his lawnmower.
He'll never make it past the grotto.
Finally, this week marks the 20-year anniversary of 1999's The Straight Story.
Well, you know, Alvin, there's a lot of hills bigger than Claremont's between here and Zion. Even if you get that mower running again, there's no guarantee it won't break down.
Well, you're a kind man talking to a stubborn man.
The film is based on the true story of Alvin Straight, a man who gets on his lawnmower to travel 240 miles from Iowa to Wisconsin in order to make amends with his dying brother.
My brother and I said some unforgivable things the last time we met, but I'm trying to put that behind me. And this trip is a hard swallow of my pride. I just hope I'm not too late.
The Straight Story is available to rent or buy everywhere now.
You know, the worst part of being old is remembering when you was young.
Happy watching. Those are the 3 things you need to watch, and this is Will Loper for News 3 Now this morning.
Thank you, Will. Well, from movies to music, it's almost time to reserve your spot at the Hotel California. Tickets go on sale this week for the Eagles' upcoming 2020 tour. This time they're touring with a twist. The band will perform its Grammy Award-winning album, Hotel California, in its entirety. The tour kicks off in Atlanta February 7th. Unfortunately, the band isn't stopping in Wisconsin this time around. Well, stay with us. There's much more ahead on News 3 Now. Next, we're running through the morning's top stories, plus a return to the Rotunda. A popular children's series is now showing at the Overture. We are previewing the performers you'll see during this month's Kids in the Rotunda. It's all just ahead.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning. It's October 12th. I'm Keely Arthur. We'll get a check on your first alert forecast with Chris in just a second. But first, here are 3 things to know as you start your day. President Donald Trump is back in Washington this morning after hitting the campaign trail for the 2nd night in a row, this time with a rally in Louisiana. While the rally was meant to unite Republicans against the state's Democratic governor, the impeachment inquiry remained the president's rallying cry. Earlier Friday, a key witness in the inquiry defied a State Department order not to cooperate with House Democrats. Behind closed doors, Marie Yovanovitch, the former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, told lawmakers she was abruptly ordered to come back to Washington in April. The ongoing impeachment investigation continues Monday when lawmakers are expected to hear from the former Russia policy expert on the National Security Council. Major parts of Southern California are still in flames this morning. The Saddle Ridge fire started Thursday and since then has expanded to more than 7,500 acres, even jumping 2 freeways. The wind-driven wildfire has forced about 100,000 people to evacuate. And new this morning, investigators are working to piece together what started it all. One neighborhood believes a recent power outage that didn't affect their homes could have played a role. And the 5th and final game of the Badgers' current homestand is today, and it's homecoming too. The Badgers are hosting Michigan State, who is 4-2 this season. Meanwhile, the Wisconsin defense is on a historic pace with 3 shutouts in its first 5 games. The Badgers are ranked at or near the top of almost every defensive statistic in the country, including first in total defense and scoring defense. Kickoff is at 2:30. And now here's meteorologist Chris Reese. And Chris, it is feeling like football weather out there.
Yeah, that's right. And today is starting out on a really beautiful note. Plenty of sunshine out there right now, but there's more cloud cover on the horizon that's likely going to be moving in as we head into the afternoon. Now, we still do have some freeze warnings. Those are going to go until 9 o'clock. So by the time we get you towards the end of this show, a lot of these freeze warnings should be coming down. But those temperatures are certainly on a low note, but they're coming on up. The Dells at 31, Viroqua, after dropping to 29 earlier this morning, is at 31 as well. Black River Falls at the freezing mark. Madison, we're at 33. That was as cold as we got. But given the winds that are coming out of the south and west, it's a breezy morning. The wind chill is certainly a factor. We've got a wind chill of 23 right now. Viroqua, a wind chill of 19, but most of us are seeing those wind chills well into the low 20s this morning. A jacket is certainly the name of the game. Sunshine for now, but more cloud cover is moving in from the north and west as we speak. As you work your way up towards La Crosse, the skies are starting to cloud up. We're going to see more and more of that cloud cover moving in, especially as we move towards the afternoon. But what's also going to move in are the snow showers. Now, we might be just warm enough that these should be mainly rain showers, but I do think a few flakes of snow will be mixing in with that at times. So let's go through the rest of this morning. Temperatures going from about 33 towards 43. We're going to stay windy and chilly, but we'll see that sunshine until we get you towards the afternoon. That's when the skies begin to cloud up. We'll see those rain and snow showers moving in. Winds turn out of the northwest at that point at about 10 to 20 miles per hour, but we should see highs, Keely, into the mid-40s.
All right. Sounds good, Chris. Thank you so much. Now to our favorite story of the week. A new member is joining Lizzo's "Cause I Love You Too" tour group after her stop in Madison Thursday night. Underdog Pet Rescue of Wisconsin brought puppies to the Sylvie, where Lizzo performed Thursday for a puppy party. The entire group, of course, fell in love with many of those puppies, and one crew member even adopted this one. The puppy, now named Pocahontas, will join the group for the remainder of the tour. The founder of Underdog Pet Rescue says she appreciates Lizzo using her celebrity platform to promote shelters and rescue animals.
Especially when people like Lizzo go out of their way to tag us on their Instagram page. So many more people are going to learn about us. And whether it means an extra donation around the holidays or whether it means somebody knows about us so that they can adopt their next pet through us.
My little sister just adopted a dog from Underdog Pet Rescue as well. That group will have puppy parties in exchange for a donation to the rescue. There's also many other opportunities to volunteer there, foster, and adopt one four-legged friend of your own. Well, more local news now. People living on Madison's west side have a new place to shop for their groceries this weekend. Festival Foods is now officially open in Verona. You'll find it next to Blaine's Farm and Fleet on Hometown Circle. The 24-hour store has a natural and organic food section, fresh sushi, a salad bar, a hot food bar, deli, bakery, and catering services. This is the company's 33rd location in Wisconsin. 8:37. If you're looking for a family-friendly activity this weekend, you can head downtown. The Overture's annual Kids in the Rotunda series is back, and our Christina Laurie joins us this morning with a preview of what you'll see this month.
The Overture's popular Kids in the Rotunda series is back, and it provides great entertainment this time of year, especially indoors, which is something we need here in Wisconsin. Here to talk about that, Mary Rose from the Overture. So what is up on this list of things to see at the Overture this October?
Thanks so much for having me here, Christina. So we're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month this weekend with Angela Puerta. She's going to be sharing some children's songs in Spanish and English, as well as teaching some Colombian dances. And then between performances, the audience can stop by and make their own maraca with artist Sahira Rosillo. And we're inviting the audience to come back from 2 to 7 p.m. for the Latino Art Fair. The following weekend, on October 19th, we are going to be learning about physics with Mike Randall of the Physics Experience, and that performance is part of the Wisconsin Science Festival, which runs October 17th through 20th. And then the following Wednesday, on October 23rd, we're having special Halloween shows with Mad's Science as part of Downtown Madison Family Halloween. Those performances are at 3, 4, and 5 p.m. that day, and the audience can stop by the lobby from 3 to 6 to get candy and take photos in costume in our green screen photo booth.
How do you keep all these programs straight? You offer so many different things.
Yep, it's a lot. And our last performance of October is the 26th with the Jerry Ensemble, our high school musical theater students. And that day we're going to have a hip hop puppet show, which I'm really excited about because that's brand new. So we do so many different things. It's very hard to keep track.
And what's great about Kids in the Rotunda is that you bring back some favorites. This program has been happening for more than 40 years now. So some of the original kids that were in the Rotunda now have kids of their own. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's a really amazing experience because we get to offer this really nurturing environment that's very kid-centered, where families can come and learn about the arts together. So some of these parents are remembering songs from their youth and then they're teaching them to their kids, and it's a beautiful experience that I get to share in.
And then really quickly, any tips and tricks for families who want to go to these programs? They're very popular and they fill up pretty quickly.
Absolutely. So the space opens 30 minutes before every show. The shows are at 9:30 a.m., 11 a.m., and 1 p.m. So we recommend that people get there as early as possible to get a good seat. And then follow us on Facebook at Overture's Kids in the Rotunda for seating updates, information if we have any sort of delays, as well as how to have a great experience at Overture.
And we have a full list of all this programming up on our website as well, so folks at home can check that out. And thank you so much for talking to us this morning, Mary.
Thank you so much for having me, Christina.
Thank you. We'll send it back to you, Keely.
Thanks, Christina. Kids in the Rotunda runs every Saturday until April. Well, it's a jam-packed homecoming weekend here in Madison, and besides the big game, there's lots else going on, from a pair of family-friendly indoor shows to a historic documentary and several Badger-themed parties. Your Weekend 608 is next on News 3 Now this morning, Saturday. Welcome back. It's the weekend in the 608, and it's the coldest weekend since April. Chris, I
That
don't like
being
that.
said, well, you know what? Hey, that being said, though, it is probably best to find some indoor activities.
Well, this weekend you have a chance to do lots of things inside, including catching a special 40th anniversary showing of the documentary War at Home. The documentary features the student protests against the Vietnam War in Madison between 1963 and 1970. The documentary will show Sunday evening at the Orpheum Theater, followed by a panel discussion about anti-war movements.
And take a trip to a pineapple under the sea to see SpongeBob the Musical at the Overture Center. Based on the long-running animated show on Nickelodeon, the SpongeBob Musical is a live-action show that is visually stunning, hilarious, and heartwarming. There are several showings both today and tomorrow.
And over in the Playhouse, you'll find Children's Theater of Madison presenting Roald Dahl's Matilda the Musical. It's based on the book Matilda, the story about the friendship between an imaginative and telekinetic 5-year-old girl and her teacher. Matilda the Musical runs through the weekend and the following 2 weekends as well.
And don't forget to watch the Badgers take on Michigan State. If you don't have a ticket to the game, but you still want to watch it with fellow fans, you can watch it at the Pyle Center, Union South, or the Memorial Union. As usual, the game day Badger Bash starts 2.5 hours before the game, so this time it's going to be at noon. That's at Union South.
Go Badgers. Yeah. Well, you can get this month's Madison magazine for all the best the Madison area has to offer.
All right. Well, you're looking live over the Capitol right now on this seemingly wintry fall morning. I'll have your full forecast next on News 3 Now this morning.
But first, let's take a look at who is 3. Happy birthday to Jocelyn and Fulton.
Well, folks, we've got about 10 minutes left on these freeze warnings, and then they should be allowed to expire as temperatures continue to warm up. But still, it's a very cold morning out there, especially for this time of the year. But everyone now is at or above the freezing mark, at least in the state of Wisconsin. Dubuque, Iowa, and Decorah, Iowa, still at 30, but we are warming on up in the state of Wisconsin. 33 right now. Southwest at 14 is where our winds are coming from. The wind chill at 23 this morning, and all of us are dealing with those wind chills. The Dells have a wind chill of 21. Same for our friends over in Viroqua, Mineral Point, and Platteville. The wind chill is 22. 18 right now, the wind chill as you work your way over towards Dubuque. And we've seen some of that sunshine this morning as some of the cloud cover has moved off. But back towards the north and west, you see some of that cloud cover starting to come back on into the picture. We're going to be seeing more of that as we head into the afternoon especially. This is all a part of what we call wrap-around moisture. This is the backside of an area of low pressure as it works its way towards the north. Those winds go counterclockwise that come in out of the north and west. And the moisture associated with the system all kind of wraps around behind that. So this is tapping into the cold air. That's why all that wraparound moisture is falling as snow right now. I think we'll be just warm enough by the time that this gets here that a lot of it should fall as rain, but I can't rule out an isolated snowflake or two getting embedded in the rain. Once this moves away, we're going to be dealing with cloud cover, though, for a couple of days, folks. Look at the cloud cover really just hanging out for pretty much all of Sunday, perhaps into parts of your Monday as well. Let's time out this afternoon, though, so enjoy the sunshine out there. Temperatures warm up under that sunshine. We'll likely be in the low to mid 40s by the time we get you towards lunch. Then the clouds roll in from the north and west. We'll also see those showers starting to break out, especially as we get you towards dinner time. At some point, the showers might be just heavy enough that they tap into some of the cooler air aloft, and that brings down the isolated bursts of snow that'll be associated with this. And I think the better chance for that, of course, is going to be a bit further towards the north. But by the time we hit you towards the overnight hours, the showers begin to turn off. We'll be left with the cloud cover and perhaps some passing flurries as temperatures fall back down into the mid and low 30s for those overnight lows. We'll see cloud cover on Sunday, perhaps some isolated little light showers around on Sunday as well before we begin to cool things off. We warm up, though, by the time we get you towards the start of next week. Temperatures will be around 50 initially. By the time we get you towards next weekend, we'll have a shot of temperatures in the comfortable 60s before perhaps another front at some point next week. We're going to focus on the warmth that comes after this weekend first.
Yeah, next Friday looks okay.
Next Friday does look okay. You're happy about next Friday, I can tell.
I'm only focused on next Friday. Everything else, not so happy about.
All right, well, find the prize.
Thank you, Chris. Well, we've been asking you to share your morning with us, and speaking of the colder temps, check out this beautiful snowy photo sent in by Paula Richards. Thank you so much. What did your morning look like? You can take a picture and post it on the Channel 3000 Facebook page or on Twitter using the hashtag MyNews3Morning. We'll share our favorites right here on the show. We'll stick with News 3 all day long, and then tomorrow morning, the link between dental and physical health and why it's especially important for expectant mothers. But first, flying without fear. It's harder than it seems for many families with kids with autism. The special way airlines are working to ease any concerns. That's next on News 3 Now this morning, Saturday. Welcome back. Finally this morning, get ready for takeoff. 1 in 59 8-year-olds has autism or 1 in 59 8-year-olds on the autism spectrum in America has to fly, and that makes traveling particularly challenging.
That's right. Now airlines are trying to help take away families' fear. Chris Van Cleve has more.
Are you excited?
6-year-old Nathan Diamond will be walking on an airplane for the first time since he was a baby. He has autism, so the noise and activity of an airport can be overwhelming.
You're going to hand her your boarding pass. Give it to her.
His parents, Sonia and Jonathan, are taking advantage of a special Delta Airlines program to get kids with autism ready to fly.
How's it gone so far?
I'll be honest. it was a little nerve-wracking, I think, for us, but for him, he was taking the challenge on, like, what's going on?
Nathan gets to experience check-in, security, boarding, and what it's like to be on a plane.
This is the hardest part for him. Sitting down, these narrow ways, and see, that's the hardest part for him.
When you've seen a child have a meltdown that's on the spectrum, it's scary.
Captain Eric Reese leads the tours. His son has autism.
What's it like for you seeing the reactions from the kids, particularly when their eyes light up? It's just amazing, in that it's doing good, and it's making families feel empowered and confident and comfortable. And I want them to have the same experiences with their children that I've had with mine.
Delta offers these programs at its Atlanta and Minneapolis hubs. Airlines including Alaska, American, and JetBlue have similar programs around the country.
Have a seat in the captain's seat.
From the looks of Nathan in the cockpit,
like
he's
this.
about ready for takeoff. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Atlanta.
Well, Badger homecoming kickoff 2:30 should be kind of warm by then.
It'll be warmer. We'll see temperatures in the 40s at that point, but the cloud cover will be on the increase. Into the afternoon, we'll see some chances for rain and snow might mix in with that at times too. Frost overnight tonight, temperatures in the low 40s for those highs tomorrow. But then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're all near 50, probably just below. Mid-50s on Thursday, 60s by next weekend. A little chance for some showers, and then perhaps another cold front early next week, but it'll be comfortable.
Comfortable. All right. Thank you so much, Chris. And thank you for watching. You can hang out with Chris and I tomorrow at 6:30.